get this very hard. If you stand right here, look up here at this. Look at all the nuts about to come out of this. A lot of the nuts that we get out of trees, y'all need to get on this downhill side to appreciate this. A lot of the nuts we get out of trees, we have to beat the squirrels to them. Look right here at this side right here. Look at this.
Oh yeah.
It's rare in the wild to see that. Usually they're eaten by the time they get that way. This tree is the very first cross-pollinated tree we produced. This is the one that we tried for 2 years. Finally on year 3 we were successful. We figured out how to successfully pollinate these. So this tree, its parents are two large trees that have resistance to the blight. And if you just look at like, just basic genetics, when you cross two like this, you're going to have, like, let's say out of 10 seed produced, you're going to have 2 of them that are going to have less resistant, either one of the parent tree. 6 out of the 10 are going to have going to be like the same resistance as the parent tree, but 2 out of 10 will have greater resistance to the blight than either one of the parent trees. And from work that we've done, there's 2 chromosomes that decide whether or not a tree is resistant, and that is what word am I looking for? Recessive gene. And so it's kind of like if you have a flower that has maybe white blooms, ordinarily they're supposed to be yellow, and white is recessive. If you keep crossing the whites, that will finally become the dominant characteristic. And so we've got this going on. So out of the seed that we have up here, 2 out of 10 represent the future of this tree making it in the woods. And so with our breeding program, what we're doing, we're crossing those, and it sounds really harsh, but across over here, this valley, there's another hill where we have nothing but cross trees like this growing on. So they will intercross with each other. And then out of that, we'll take those seeds. We're going to go to probably this place back over here. And that's a south-facing slope above another glade. And they don't grow good right on a glade, just right immediately above it, because we got a glade right below us. But anyhow, we'll plant maybe 500 trees over there. Now that 500, we're going to inoculate them with a blight. We're going to take the nastiest blight in North America in the mildest form, and we're going to inoculate each tree. And it's going to take a lot of work to do this too. We're going to hopefully have money for interns and that sort of thing, and volunteers. And so we'll observe them. So out of 500 trees, you may have 10 to 20 that don't just have resistance to the blight, but immunity to it. So this sounds bad, but we're going to wrap a chain around those other like 480 trees and pull them out of the ground. We have them represented. And so then those 10 or 20 trees that have true resistance to the blight, we're going to focus our breeding program on those trees. And then if you do the genetics on it, then before long, the main characteristic of those trees is blight resistance, and that's what we're working for. But this is really cool. If you look right here, though, we have to collect a lot of seed green, and when you do that, we have a high loss. But if you wait till they get ripe, like what you're seeing right here, then 100% of those will pollinate. Will germinate. And so we have a real high germination. Look here, we lost one seed right here. It's on the ground somewhere. Yeah. But this is really good.
So these are all ripe?
Yeah,
right now?
These right here are ripe. We need to take these out of here. Okay. In fact, Zephyr, can you bring that backpack over here? I've got some plastic bags in there, and somewhere down here there should be a seed laying here. Something hadn't already gotten it. This is so unusual to see these like this, and I have the wildlife on them. Usually you walk up to a chinkapin tree.
Hold up, found it.
Yep. Oh man, you are the man. Yeah. Awesome.
They're less
good
smaller
find.
than I thought they were.
Yeah, the turkeys love they're so small.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. American chestnut trees, young turkeys can't eat them. They're too big. You see, these are perfect size, and they're higher potent on protein. Yeah. And sometimes you'll have a weevil on the end of this. It's real easy to get rid of them. Just rub it on your pant leg or on some rough material, and it'll wipe it off. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to collect these. I'm going to take them back with me here.
I would like to get a picture with my macro lens.
Okay, yes, we definitely need that. That is good that you spotted that. And I need to label this one too. Is that, hey, Zephyr, can you bring that backpack? I need to label
we need
this.
To get a pen.
I've got a marker right here. I'll have to look at my book to see the number on this one. It's faded off the tree. Now, the old man I know that first told me about these, right where we parked at, he used to camp there all the time, and he broke some bones here last year, and four-wheeler accident. And but anyhow, he told me, he said, well, I never see them growing on east slope, just an east slope over here.
Yeah.
Last tree I'm going to show you over here is one that I planted in 2012. And it came from Oregon County, Missouri. I want you to take a look at this one and see what you think. It's on East Slope. So there's exceptions to the rule all the time on that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, did you get plenty of shots?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's
Sticker,
see.
sticker.
Yep.
Right there. If it'll do it.
Let's see
break it
here.
off.
Somebody got a pocket knife?
I do. I've got
It
one.
almost do.
Okay.
No, I don't.
I just sharpened mine last
Okay.
night.
Don't let me get your hand here. Move your hand out of the way,
Yeah.
Becky.
What kind of knife is that?
Old timer.
An old timer.
Hold that. We'll cut these off too here.
Another set over here.
Trying to keep from cutting my hand off while I'm doing this.
What?
I think that's
So that one's still gonna open in a minute.
Yep.
Yep.
Drop that one. Drop your fingers. See it?
Did you drop one?
I had one I knocked loose.
No. The green one fell out.
There's a green one. Is
Okay.
that too green to collect?
Yes, it doesn't have a good seed in it.
Well,
keep
maybe
that
it's
one
come
if
up
you
as a
want to.
tree
I
next
have
year.
this as a make a
Well,
necklace
maybe
out of
so. I
it.
doubt it. Something's going to eat it probably.
Well, yeah, probably.
We did a calculation here a few years ago of the amount of time and effort it went into to get some of these
There.
nuts.
Don't they?
And we came up with, on the price of the seed, at one time it was like $331 per tree that made it. By the time we collected the seed, planted them, did all the work, all the time, cutting on, just all the labor involved, $331 per tree. What we came up with, the ones that made it. Okay, we got some more up here. But now what I'm going to do,
pass these out right here.
okay, some of these, see, I think I may come back a little bit later. Look how many there are on this one though. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the bigger trees, the branches will be recurved because they're so loaded with nuts.
Sorry.
This is a real
I see
poor
five here.
year for pollination because of all that rain we had. And let's see,
That's
I
what
see
it
some
is.
right
Want
there.
rain, but not too much, huh?
These trees,
Nice.
last year,
Oh,
I
wow.
collected 141 nuts off of this one tree last year.
141?
Yeah, and I left another probably 70 on it. This is where the turkeys were at last year. But see, this year it's got a lot of nuts on it, but the pollination this year was not that good because at prime time we had a lot of rain, so that influenced the pollination on it. But you can see this got a fair amount of nuts too on it.
Oh, yeah.
This one here.
But if the pollination
Oh, has it got some in it still?
Already
done,
one
Yeah.
on that one, for sure.
but this
Oh, where's
is
the nut?
done pretty good.
There it is.
But this tree was planted, this is a 5-year-old tree. Look when the bucks have rubbed it up pretty good. They had to spray rubberized undercoating on it.
There's a
There it is.
that's ready to collect. I don't know if you're wanting to collect one.
A lot of times if you see it when it's black like that, sometimes, oh look at this.
Yeah.
This explodes a myth right here.
Wow.
Look how many nuts are there. There's 3 inside
Real?
that. There's 3.
Is there really? Wow.
Yeah. And see, people say, well, chinkapin means 1 nut
Can't
per
help
burr
but
is
say
what that means.
What?
In the year 2012, when it was really dry, though, that was excellent pollination time. We had trees we'd been collecting nuts off of for years, and a lot of them had 2 and 3 nuts per burr. In fact, about 30% of the trees did. And so, but that's a myth about chinkapins. They think there's only 1 nut per burr. But this one had good pollination, though, for it to do that. Yep, look here at this side. Look, right here's 3 more nuts. Look at that.
In one pod?
In one pod, yep.
Oh, it sure is.
There's 3 here and 3 right here on this one.
Wow.
So there's a lot of stuff about the Ozark chinkapin we didn't know. A tree grown out here under good conditions will produce pollen the 2nd year. It'll produce nuts the 3rd year. And we've found them in Alabama. In fact, I talked to the girl that wrote the book, Trees of Alabama, and she assured me there was no Ozark chinkapins in Alabama. She said they're no longer here. They hadn't been here since the 80s. And I got a call from a friend of mine who was president, American Chestnut Chapter in Tennessee, and he said, we've got a tree and we don't know what it is. He said, it's got 1 nut per burr, and we thought it was American chestnut. We were real excited. We crossed it with another American chestnut, And he said, we don't know what it is. I drove down to Alabama, and I brought back 2 of those saplings from Alabama. And we've got the genetics of them growing out here too. And so anyhow, we keep finding out more and more stuff. We think they were in Georgia, and then Joey Shaw did DNA test and found out that in Virginia they have an Ozark chinkapin trees there as well. And they thought there's something wrong with that test. He had them redo it again. And sure enough, it was an Ozark chinkapin. It's real distinctive, the DNA pattern on these trees. And so, but we keep finding out more and more stuff about them though. But this one's a real good one right here too. And it's a real rugged one.
How old is that one?
That tree there is, I think this is its 2nd year, I believe. And I think it made pollen this year. I'm pretty sure it did. So it crossed with those. Like I said, 23 trees had pollen this year. Most of them were, this is the first plantings I did right here. Some of them backed up this way. We're going to make a circle around through here, and then we're going to wrap it up and head back down and get something to eat.
Why?
Yeah, a lot of these numbers just fade off right here. And this tree right here is a replant. I'll just show you right here. First planting I did here, the tree died.
Okay, talk all you want.
And so I went ahead and replanted it. This one came back with a root system. You see how the deer have been nipping it off constantly. You see the screen wire I've got right below that? You see it? And you have to, if you do a winter planting, you've got to cover these up with screen wire. If you don't, the squirrels will dig them up and they'll eat them. But usually by March and April, the squirrels have turned to buds on the trees. They're not on the ground looking for nuts because they've already combed them. But you have to actually have to take the rebar, knock a hole in the ground, fill it with sand or granite, limestone, whatever, and then or sandstone, and then you take the bar back out, and then in its space you plant the seed, and then you put the screen wire over it. Let's say the nut's planted right here. Then you drive the rebar back in there again. And then you put rocks on it. And it's a deterrent for bears, it's a deterrent for armadillos, and for mice, squirrels, anything like that. But they will get through it. And if you make the screen wire larger than this, a squirrel can actually stick its paws through that and still get hold of that nut. One right by Colton over there is a newer one, that real tall one right there you see. No, the one right to your left immediately, yeah. And so 8 trees is what I first planted here in 2010. And this one, though, came from Arkansas. The guy that used to run the nursery in Arkansas was told about some resistant trees. He went and saw them, and I got 4 seed from the trees, and this is one of them right here. So that's real good genetics, too. And this one made a lot of pollen this year. So in theory, it's crossed with all these others right here as well, too. And Colton, you know, tell them a little bit about the pollination thing, about what you read and what you found out and what we're... Okay.
What do you want to know?
Well, the books say that chestnuts are wind pollinated,
Right.
and yet they produce a nectar that is so fragrant-like. Colton can tell you when you get up in a lift bucket truck up in these blooms of these things, it's really a neat smell, kind of like honeysuckle, and there's just a constant roar of insects. So for a tree to produce that much nectar, it has to depend on pollinators, or it wouldn't do that. If it's wind pollinated only, there'd be no need for it doing that though. So Colton's been doing work on finding out what kind of insects pollinate them, and he did a presentation at our last meeting. You can see that online. Anyhow, Colton is trying to find out for the first time ever what insects pollinate the Ozark chinkapin tree, something we didn't know about before. I'm sure there's some wind pollination, but insects do play a part of it. So he actually changed his major because of that, so that's pretty good stuff though. And we've
From
got a
what
little
to
bit of
what?
money to work with, not much. I was talking to Becky and
From
so
caving to entomology?
for his time to come up here. He didn't know he was going to get that. Actually, me and Becky were going to wait to see if he showed up. If he showed up, we thought we'll pay. If he don't, we won't. No, I'm just teasing.
That's interesting to me because, like I was saying earlier, the government right now is budget package is pollinators, so I could probably get more money for doing stuff like this if I can throw pollinators with that. So
and see, we are so
that's something
busy.
to
It
think
takes
about
somebody
more.
like you to make that happen because
Yeah.
we don't have the time to do it. But if you can do something like that, let me know what you need, and I can write something up for you and send it in. But
That's interesting, yeah.
okay, so we're going to keep heading up this way then.